Hey, small business owners and entrepreneurs, so you're ready to build your team, but you need to make sure that you do it on a budget and have a good strategy there. In this 15-minute masterclass, we are going to talk all things team building and show you how to hire, what order of positions you should hire in, how to keep your budgets down, and how to make sure you really get the right people on your team. I'm Amy Walker. I'm a client acquisition specialist, and what I help clients do is create consistent, predictable sales through their organic lead generation and also through their sales strategies and building their team. All of these things that I'm sharing with you today are the reasons why we were able to start hiring when our cash flow was small. And I was able to get the help and support that I needed that allowed us to be able to grow. So we grew quickly, and I 100% attribute that to these team building strategies that I'm going to share with you. They allowed me to be able to stay in the position of making money and creating growth for our business, and allowed me to be able to get help on the things that I wasn't good at, I didn't have time to do. And it honestly is what allowed me to keep my sanity in raising kids and trying to make it all work and juggle everything. I had help. I never did it alone. So I would like to share those strategies with you because I know far too many entrepreneurs and small business owners who feel like their business is running their life. Like everything has to be planned around the business. It's hard to stop thinking about it. It's hard to go on vacation. Your sick days look like you being sick and still working, but maybe just working in your bed in your pajamas. We gotta change some of these things. So let's jump into it. The very first thing I want to tackle here is the myth, which is I can't afford to hire. Not true. There is no business out there that can't afford to hire, but you might have to make some changes so you can afford to hire. So if you've told yourself that in the past, I just can't afford to hire, I just can't afford to hire, you have to get rid of that language and stop thinking that way. Instead, you need to shift and say, what do I need to do so I can afford to hire? And that will help you nail in the right path for you and your business. So there's a couple things that we need to look at. Number one is that the cost of hiring should be worked into your pricing. Sometimes it's not because you've been considering yourself free labor. So you haven't been paying yourself hourly rates to do the work. You've just been paying yourself out of profits and dividends. So you bring in the cash, you take out all of the expenses, you look at what's left and you say, that's what I earned. But if you actually had to pay someone hourly to do everything that you do, is your business still profitable or is it losing money? This is where we get ourselves held hostage in our business because we've priced too low and we don't have any way to hire anybody else. So you may need to have a pricing increase. You're not free labor. I don't know how many times I need to say that, but you are not free labor, my friend. So hiring absolutely should make you more money. It shouldn't be a cost drain that now all of a sudden you're watching your profits go down. First, it should allow you to be able to increase the amount of time that you spend in income producing activities and generating new business. Second, it should drive and fuel sales and marketing. And third, it should actually increase the quality of care that you give to your clients, which is a big concern I hear from people. They're like, no one else could do that because my clients wouldn't like it. That means you have the wrong people in those positions, and that might be true if you had the wrong person, but when you get the right person in, it actually increases the quality of care because now there's somebody that is dedicated to doing one thing when you have 10 things that you're trying to balance all of the time. Let's look at old hiring practices and let go of some ideas or thoughts that we might have around hiring. The first is that hiring looks like full-time employees. That it looks like employees all together, that you've got to have benefits packages, and you're going to have to be paying for their unemployment, and that you're looking for loyal people who are going to stay with you for the long haul. That's how honestly hiring was when my dad was coming up in the job market. It hasn't been that way for a really, really long time. And there were some things that we could do during COVID that not everybody saw or understand, but now in a post-COVID world, they're really very, very commonplace. So let's look at what the new hiring economy looks like now, and you're gonna see a lot more potential because that old model is great for big businesses. It's hard for small businesses. In the new hiring economy, we have virtual independent contractors who can work for us anywhere. We can utilize the global hiring market, not just our local hiring market. If you live in a very expensive part of the world or your country, you might struggle to hire because you can't afford to pay those rates. But there's another state, there's another province, there's another country that has a lower cost of living and it doesn't cost as much to hire there. That's where you want to be looking to hire the bulk of your team members. The other thing that's wonderful with this virtual gig economy is that you only need to hire them for the amount of service hours that you need provided by them. So you could hire a fractional CMO for 5 hours a quarter if that's what you needed them for. You could hire a tax strategist for a couple hours a quarter. Like, you don't have to have people on hand all the time. And I'm going to show you how we can actually figure out who we need and in what spots in order to make your hiring as cost effective as possible. The main benefit of all of this, and the reason why we're shifting this direction, is because it always allows you to have support in your business. There is never a time in your business where you have to do it alone, because it's hard. It really is. When I look back over all of the hundreds of businesses that I've worked with and I've helped them to scale and grow, the ones who have created the best results and the most consistent results are the ones that also had a small, cost-effective team. They were able to sustain it because profits were high, and they were able to get it all done because they weren't trying to do it all themselves. Trying to do it all yourself is a recipe for stress, for overwhelm, and for getting stuck.
Good job, guys. Well done.
Thank you.
There are 4 different levels of hires. The first is the strategist, and they are somebody who can create and build inside of your business things that you can't do without them. The second is the manager. They are going to manage people and systems. The third is the producer. They already come with this skill and they're ready to get to work and do the thing, and you don't have to train them in that skill. You'll have to train them on your process, but they have that core skill. And the fourth is an implementer. This is a good, hardworking employee who is teachable, trainable, but they don't necessarily come already owning the skill. Now, you'll notice as I went through all of that the dollar signs are different. So the strategist is going to be the most expensive, then it goes down from there. The implementer is the least expensive. I want to show you why hiring the middle is the worst thing to do. What most people do is they say, okay, I can't afford the strategist. It's too much. They cost $250 an hour. I can't do that. But I know that, somebody that I'm paying $5 an hour overseas, they're not going to be able to do everything I need them to do. So I'm going to hire in the middle. And then what happens is they always end up spending more money. So let me give you an example. I'm going to give you a financial example. In the finance space, your tax strategist is your strategist. I personally pay my tax strategist $3,000 a quarter, and they're awesome. They do a great job. The second is my accountant that actually comes in and just files the taxes, and they're about $300 an hour. The third is a bookkeeper, and the bookkeeper is about $75 an hour where I live. And then you have a finance assistant, and that finance assistant is going to be somewhere around $16 an hour. So those are the 4 different things. Now, if I went in and said, I'm going to hire a bookkeeper and I'm going to have them do pretty much everything and get everything ready to go, file my taxes, all that stuff, here's what you'd be looking to pay. If you paid them $75 an hour, you paid them for 20 hours a week, they work for you 52 weeks a year, that's $78,000 a year. That's a good chunk of change. Now, and it's going to take them more time because they're not really capable and qualified to do all the things that an accountant can do. So having a bookkeeper file your taxes, even though some of them will do tax preparation, you're not getting all of the savings. They don't know the tax code like an accountant does. And even beyond an accountant, they don't know the tax code like a tax strategist does, that is helping you to move your money and create a proactive plan so that you're saving money on your taxes in legal ways. So let's look at a different strategy if we flipped this. What if we had our tax strategist come in? And by the way, my tax strategist, you guys, last year saved us about $30,000 in our tax strategy because we were not taking advantage of all of the tax benefits that were legally available to us. So that was awesome when we started working with them. Then that would be $12,000 a year. So then we're gonna have our accountant come in and they're gonna file our taxes at the end of the year. That's usually about $1,500. So now we're at $13,500. And then we're going to look at, because we have the strategy so dialed in, because we have the accountant that's doing everything they need to do, we don't actually need as many hours from our bookkeeper. And now we're gonna add in a finance assistant into the mix. So the finance assistant can come in and they can simply reconcile our QuickBooks, make sure everything is categorized correctly. They can help communicate and give the things that our accountant and our tax strategist need. And they would be somebody who's just like, they've been trained in QuickBooks. They can generate a profit and loss report. They don't know what the profit and loss report means, but that's why we're paying the strategist and the accountant, but they know how to actually pull the report. So in this scenario, I'm going to put in that we're paying them $16 an hour, that we are paying them for 15 hours a week, and we're having them work for 52 weeks. That ends up being $12,480 for the finance assistant, and then let's add on there the cost of the accountant and the tax strategist. You're paying out now $25,980 instead of $78,000, and you're getting better service. What?
Good job, guys. Well done.
Thank you.
It's crazy, and you guys, I've taken so many people through this exercise. I've never had it come out to be better hiring the middle. But find that top tier hire, find that bottom tier hire, and when you need the middle, hire the middle, but you usually don't need to hire the middle first. So what is the hiring order that I recommend? I'm going to share it with you, and I want you to know that this is not just what I recommend to other people. This is also what I did when I was growing my business. The first hire that I made was actually a strategist. It was a really high level consultant and coach who was going to show me how to set my business up and help me avoid some of those pitfalls that most people make that keeps them from being profitable during their early years in business. I knew I didn't want to play small. I knew I didn't want to go slow. So this was an important hire for me. The second thing that I hired was I hired low cost, high return positions. These are going to be your virtual marketing and virtual sales positions. So your appointment setters, your prospectors, people who are helping with lead generation, you want them to be directly income producing and the lower expense or commission only. The third thing that I hired was the support positions. So these were the getting people to help in fulfillment, getting people to help on my admin side, and getting people to help with my finances. They're all important, but if I had hired them first, they would have taken from my profits. Instead, I hired somebody who could show me how to build a profitable business. Then I hired people who could help me make sales, and then I used the money I was making from the sales to then hire all of the fulfillment support. All right, there's 8 steps to help you hire and hire well. Number 1 is we need to define our corporate culture and our values. Number 2, we need to build the systems and the standard operating procedure so people know what they need to do and it's organized for them. Then we're going to create clearly defined roles and responsibilities. Number 4 is a well-written job post. I recommend you either get a really good template for that or hire a copywriter. It'll increase the number of applicants you get and the quality goes up as well. Then we have a 3-part interview process where we do a group interview then to save us time from a bunch of one-on-ones. Then we do one-on-one interviews to make sure they're a culture fit. Then we do a skills assessment where we can actually assess them working. Number 6, training and onboarding. We need them to get started in a very positive way. Number 7 is a scale-up plan to make sure that you have marked out their benchmarks of where you want them to be over those first few weeks of being with you, so they're getting up to speed quickly. And if they're not, you can see that you have the wrong person on your team in the beginning. And number 8 is regular management. You need to be a great company to work for and a really, really good boss. And that's not a skill that all of us know how to do. Sometimes we need to learn it. If this is helpful and you're wanting more information here or really wanting to dig in and get started with this process, I'd love for you to join me at my 2-day Acquire event. In this event, we do 3 things. We build out your organic marketing and lead generation strategies. We build out your sales systems and processes and help you get ready to hire your sales team. And then we talk with you about the process of hiring and staffing so that you have the right people and you can actually afford to have them on board. So if you would like more information about that, you can click the link below. Also, feel free to reach out and ask questions. Thank you so much for being here. If you want more information on organic lead generation or on the sales process, go ahead and click on one of those 2 masterclasses and you can watch them both. They're great. Thanks so much for being here.